Hey. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics, where politics lives. Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. As soon as you have a chance, please let your feet do the walking. Take your cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics, word. But right about now, I'm going to get right into it like a car and drive, because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. Number one, first thing I want to talk about is how the Democrats, right, united or had the good graces to invite some Amazon workers to Congress to testify before Congress about some of the harsh conditions they've been going through at Amazon. So they invited the workers to testify. Lindsey Graham, so passionate about corporations' rights. He stood up there and was going on and on and on about how, this is horrible, this is egregious, and I can't believe that they're doing this, talking about the Democrats, because that's who's in control right now. They're doing this. And he said, and you can best believe when we get power, talking about his gang, the GOP, the Republicans, when they get power again, they won't be doing stuff like this. So I'm like, you won't be doing stuff like this, like what? Oversight? Because that is something that you Republicans really don't get into. Don't want to do no oversight. We're not going to regulate business. We're going to let business do what it's doing as long as they're lining our pockets with cash, through campaign contributions. We're fine to look the other way and not do anything. So I think that's what Lindsey Graham was saying without saying, but he was kind of saying it right to your face. So with all that being said, the leader of Amazon's Fight for Unions had to remind Mr. Graham that people who work there is what makes up Amazon. He said Amazon is the people who work there, right? Literally the people who do the heavy lifting. This brother's name is Christian Smalls, but ain't nothing small about this brother. He doing it big. He is leading the fight for workers to get rights at Amazon. And you can go and Google some of these stories. I've read some of the stories of some of these people who work at Amazon, and it's just horrible type stuff. You know what I'm saying? How they're overworked. I won't say necessarily underpaid. The pay is pretty decent, but the work is still just, really not anything that a person should have to do. You know what I'm saying? For any amount of money. So a TI is what a TI is. This brother, like I said, Christian Smalls, leading the fight to help people, try and get, some kind of justice over there at Amazon. But Lindsey Graham, being the true Republican, a true member of the GOP, he comes out and supports big business first. Don't worry about the people. You know what I'm saying? And Amazon, it's not Jeff Bezos. Sure, you see his face all the time because he's the guy who created the company, and hats off to him for that. That's cool. But really, that company is the people, like I said, who do the heavy lifting. Literally, there's some dude who's continuously lifting a box, and the middle of his back is hurting. He really shouldn't be at work, but he's going to go tomorrow. Why? Because he's got kids, and he's got benefits, and he's got a little girl that needs braces. So he's at Amazon, and he's lifting boxes, even though his back is screaming out. That's Amazon. That's what makes up that company. People like him, excuse me. People like him, you know what I'm saying, who are giving their all for that company every day or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And you won't see a commercial with them in it. Sometimes you do when they're trying to sell something that Amazon claims that they're doing for workers. But 9 times out of 10, you will not see that man or woman in a commercial. They're just a hard worker who goes to work every day, and they're beating themselves up so that Bezos can make a little bit more money. And the least they can do is treat these people with some dignity, with some respect. Okay, we should have time off. FMLA, a family member gets sick, you shouldn't lose your job over that. We should have vacation time. We should have all of that good stuff that you see in other countries. So that is what it is. It was cool that Congress invited them, to testify. But here's the thing. It would be nice if they, would talk about this stuff when there wasn't a photo opportunity involved. When y'all couldn't get next to Mr. Smalls and be like, well, he's talking about worker rights. Let's get next to him and take a picture so it looks like I care about voter rights. Politicians need to get off of that. Okay, and this right here, and that's what he told him too. That was pitch perfect. He told Mr. Graham, this is not a right or a left issue. This is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is a workers' rights issue. This is a workers' issue. Okay, Republicans, some of them are workers. Democrats, some of them are workers. Independents, some of them are workers. Right? So this is not a left or a right or an even in the middle issue. This is across the board issue. You know what I'm saying? Because all workers want dignity, want respect, and want to be paid an honest day wage for an honest day's work, right? Moving on, let's talk about another hot button subject. This right here, continues to be an issue politically and otherwise. It will continue to be an issue politically and otherwise. Abortion, 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 abortion. It was on everybody's lips. Why? Supreme Court lets the first draft of an argument undoing Roe versus Wade leak. They let it leak. Interesting. Did they let it leak or did somebody leak it? Obviously somebody leaked it for it to leak. Who leaked it? You know, if you listen to Fox News and a lot of people on the right, they're like, some liberal justice has leaked this document and ... right? But even beyond the leak, it's the document itself. And what it is just the first draft of an argument, basically making abortion illegal, basically undoing Roe versus Wade. So pro-choice advocates, they're pissed about it because the right is essentially getting rid of women's right to choose. 50 years of precedent. All right. Roe versus Wade has been law for 50 years. And they got rid of it in the dead of the night. Or they're getting rid of it. They're taking the steps to get there. Now, they've been working on this for 50 years. This is nothing new at all. The right has been on wanting to get rid of abortion. Now, back in the day, you might have read stuff, as I have, about Margaret Sanger, the woman who invented Planned Parenthood. And then when you read a lot of her stuff, she had some stuff that's disparaging, I'll say, to people of color. She talked about how, she was starting Planned Parenthood to try and get rid of these Negro babies and such like that, right? But some people have said to me that they think that there are women not of color who are getting most of the abortions. I don't know. I've looked up stuff on that, and really, depending on whatever your narrative is, you can find something to fit it. I read stuff that says women of color get the most abortions, and that Planned Parenthood is all about getting rid of people of color. I read stuff that says, no, actually women who are not of color get abortions. And you know what I'm saying? The right wants to stop that because their numbers are going down and they need to save their numbers. I hear all of that. You also see legislation from the right where they're making it legal to marry someone who's super young. I forget what state that's in, but you've seen this on TV and stuff. So that's interesting too. Doing things like making incest basically legal and such like that. So what is that about? And it does make me think it's got to be about getting the numbers up, right? Because that's what all of this seems to be leading to. It's crazy. Pro-lifers say it's a win for America and a win for God. A win for America and a win for God. I don't know. 80% of Americans, maybe a little less, 76, 77% of Americans think Roe versus Wade should be law. Think that that women should have access to safe and legal abortions. So that's what most of America wants. So I'm not sure it's a win for America. A win for God? How you putting that in his mouth? I don't know if that's a win for God. Something tells me that I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think God would be pro-choice as I am, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a win for God. You make your own decision on that. Supreme Court Justice, all of them lied about dismantling Roe versus Wade. So when all of them came up there, they all told the same lie because they knew this was coming. Everyone knew this was coming. Trump won on this issue. The GOP, like I said, has been trying to do this for 50 years. I remember seeing him at a rally even say right there, even if you don't like Trump, even if you hate me, you still got to vote for me. You know why? The Supreme Court, no Supreme Court justices. And there it is. And he delivered, didn't he? He delivered. He delivered with the help of Mitch, it's a family show, Mitch McConnell, and some other GOP deplorables. He was able to get this off, wasn't he? They were able to get this off. They got it off. Right? They got rid of voting rights in the dead of night, and now they're getting rid of abortion rights in the dead of night. And they're going to keep this going. They're going to keep this going if people don't wake up and start doing something about this. So this is what's crazy. Big business says that they will help their employees access the health care that they want. You hear what they said? Let me say it again. Big business like Amazon, Apple, some of these guys said that they will help employees access the health care that they want. AKA pay for abortions. That's what that means, ladies and gentlemen. They use a lot of fancy wording to tiptoe around that. That's what they're saying. Ladies work for us. If they want abortions, we'll pay for it. And they said up to $4,000. That's a lot of money, right? But that's basically big business kind of giving the middle finger to the government. But see, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is where I really, 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 really love politics. Look at this right here. This is interesting. The two stories that I've covered right here, you know what I'm saying? You got Amazon workers going to Congress and talking about how they're not treated with dignity. Talking about how they need rights. You know what I'm saying? How these jobs are this, jobs that. Amazon is not looking out for their best interests as employees. But then you go down here and you see how Amazon said, hey, we will pay for abortions. If the government will not codify Roe versus Wade and provide these women with safe and legal abortions, we'll do it. That's interesting, isn't it? How does that work? How are they parceling that at Amazon? So Amazon, we treat people like garbage, but when it comes to women and their health care, we do care about that. We're going to look out for them over here. That's politics. That's politics. It's wild to me how in the same brain you can have thoughts like this. But that's what's going on, because right there, they said that. They said if there are, if we have employees, who are seeking access to health care that they want, we will help them with that. Like I said, AKA, that's paid for abortion. That's what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? If ladies who work for us are looking for an abortion, they can have an abortion and we will pay for it. We ain't studying the government. That's deep. But you know what? Big business can also do that because what? They got all the money. They got all the money. They said Apple's got more money on the books than the federal government any quarter you look. I'm sure this past quarter. You know what I'm saying? A quarter is what, 3 months? They said any 3 months you look at Apple's books, they got more money on the books than the federal government's got. See what I'm saying? I believe it too, because line around the block for Apple phones. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about an experience that I had as a machine judge. Now, I've worked with the BOE before. Before I even get into the story of the way that I last worked for them, which was on Tuesday, May 3rd, because we were voting, you know what I'm saying? It was a primary election. Years ago, you know what I'm saying? I was dating a young lady, and she's like, yeah, give me a minute. She gets on the phone, and she was talking to the BOE about helping with an election, and I overheard her, and I said, wow, you know what I'm saying? I said, dang, how do you do that? I'd love to do that. How you do? I get into politics. I love that. And she says, well, all you got to do is call this number, and they'll hook you up. Well, she said, well, but hold on, what are you? And I said, what do you mean, what am I? I was like, what you mean, how do I vote? And she said, yeah. I said, well, obviously, at that time, obviously, I was way younger. This is maybe 20 some years ago. I said, obviously, I'm a Democrat. What are you? And she said, well, I'm a Republican. She said, so I'll give you this number, but you're going to have to get the number for Democrats. This is the number for Republicans. I was like, what? I said, you're a Republican? Needless to say, I didn't see that young lady no more. Could have had to do with the fact that she came back at me with Republic. I'm joking. I don't hold nobody's political party against them. Get out of here. But that is literally how that happened. So she gave me that number and I called. And when I called, the lady asked me, are you a Democrat or Republican? I said, Democrat. She said, well, hold on. And then she came with another number that I had to call. I called that number and I got involved with the BOE. I worked a couple of elections. I was always a machine judge. That's what I was this last election when I helped out. I went ahead and did that because I've done that before. I actually did that a whole bunch of times. The last time I helped out with the voting and worked the polls was 2012 when Barack Obama was running against Mitt Romney. And he shellacked him. He won. But that was an interesting election to help out with. Of course, tensions was high. There was all types of crazy stuff going on in the parking lot and people trying to rush the door and all this other stuff. But let me go ahead and talk about, because I don't want time to get away from me. I want to tell y'all how it went down this last Tuesday. Tuesday, May 3rd. First of all, I had to be up at 4 a.m. Why? Because I had to be there at 5:30 in the morning. You got to get it in early when you're trying to help with democracy and help people take advantage of the franchise. So I had to be there at 5:30 in the morning, right? You know what I'm saying? Also, a new thing, too, it didn't used to be like this. That Monday night before the election, I had to go and be out there from 6 to 8 to help with setup. Now, that Monday night, we did set up a lot of the machines, and a lot of them just stayed on until that Tuesday morning. But it's interesting because I remember back when you just came in that Tuesday morning, had to knock all this stuff out in that day. So I think it's actually a little better that they got that, night before thing where you kind of set stuff up or whatever. And that lasts about 2 hours, 6 to 8. The polls open, I want to say 7:30. Tuesday, May 3rd. I know they closed for a fact that the polls closed at 7:30. No, polls closed at 7:30. I'm not sure if they opened at 7 or 7:30, but I know they closed at 7:30. After breaking everything down, final count of the ballots, we left at 8:30, 9 o'clock. So that was a 15-hour day, ladies and gentlemen. I was tired. It was something, man. It was a hard day, but it was a fun day, right? I had a diverse array of coworkers. No youth at the booth. Did that surprise me? No. This is an off election. It's a primary. I was even telling them I didn't expect many people to come in and vote at all because, like I said, it's an off election. It's a primary. And what I mean by that is it's not the horse race. It's not the presidential election. That's the only election that people really care about. That's the only election that people even pay attention to. So I was even surprised that we got as many voters as we did. I'll share that with you in a minute here. So that blew me away, but no youth at the booth. That did not surprise me. Young people are it's a primary election. They ain't paying attention at all. So we had 537 votes cast, and it was a steady stream all day. Guy I worked with, he had worked a couple of elections. He had said usually how it works is in the morning you get a rush of people, then there's a lull, then you get maybe a little lunchtime rush, then there's a lull, then you get an afternoon rush, and then it's over. That did not happen. We had a steady drip of people all day. My back was screaming. I never got a chance to really sit down, and if I did, it was 2-3 minutes where I had to pop back up and do something, move something, set something up, break something down, help somebody over here, help somebody over there. It was something. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, though. In Ohio, you must pick a party before you vote. You know what I'm saying? Only for the primary. Now, presidential election, you don't have to do that, right? But for whatever reason, and I'm sure there's people who know this, and you know what I'm saying? I don't, tell me if you got the inside on this. Why is it like that here in Ohio that you have to actually pick a party before you vote? And I hadn't voted yet, right? So I went up to vote. And I remember the lady, she flipped over the screen and she said, pick your party, Republican or Democrat. I said, what about independent? Oh, they got a good laugh out of that. Like, independent, get that out of here. This is America. We got Republican or Democrat. That's it. You better pick one. It's a binary choice, sir. Right? So I went ahead and picked Democrat. And depending on what you pick, that's the screen that you get, right? Because there were some people who were mad about that. Now, I was by the ballot counter, which is the last place that you go to before you leave because that's how you actually cast your ballot. When you go to the machine, you do all this picking of your different candidates and your judges and all that good stuff, and then it comes out on that paper ballot. But you have to go over to the ballot counter. Then that's the thing by the door where you actually submit that piece of paper. That's casting your vote. Because you can do all that in the machine and all that, but if you don't cast that vote in there, if that ballot counter doesn't count your ballot, you didn't vote. It's like you didn't vote. You didn't vote, right? So we tell people all the time, it's cool. When you put it in there, there's a machine in there that's just reading your ballot, and it's also recorded because it's on the paper that goes in there, right? So there was a guy who's upset about it because he chose Democrat, right? He chose Democrat, but he wanted to vote for DeWine. When you choose Democrat, DeWine did not even come up as a choice because I chose Democrat. And I voted for Megan Harper. I wanted to vote for her anywhere. I would like her to. I'd love for her to get the Democratic nomination and end up going against DeWine. That ain't how it happened though. Tim Ryan got the nomination. Tim Ryan's cool. I don't not like Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan's, and guess what? He'll get my vote. Definitely over DeWine. But Tim Ryan, you know what I'm saying? He's probably going to be the person to go against DeWine, and that's fine. But on the ticket, came up Megan Harper. I wanted to vote for her. I gave her my vote. But that's the thing. Since that came up only because I put Democrat. If you put Republican, then, DeWine would be one of your choices. The one guy was screaming mad when he left. Why? He chose Democrat, and DeWine did not even come up as a choice. And he said, man, that's really the only person out of all them jokers I even wanted. He didn't say jokers. Out of all them jokers I really wanted to vote for was DeWine. And he wasn't even a choice, man. So he yelled, he ran out of there cussing. Him and his wife were really, really mad about that. But that's why I said that is interesting, isn't it? But then the guy I work with said, hey, look, in November, you'll have another chance and another primary. You can vote for DeWine, whatever you want. And then they're talking about something going down here in August. I'll have more information about that other shows. But that TI is what a TI is. He was mad about that. Let me tell you, one of the voters had said that the volunteers like myself should be the ones in office. He said, you guys should run for office. He said, because y'all really care about this thing called democracy, man. Y'all should run for office. Y'all should be the elected officials. And I said, hey, man, from your lips to God's ears, I would love that job. I'm not going to lie. Why? I think I could bring people together, and I definitely would be out there for the people, man. I would not be in it for the money or any political aspirations or anything like that. I love politics. but I would really love to help people. And you know what I'm saying? I've been a social worker all my life. I've worked with kids all my life. All I know how to do is help other people. Politics would be a huge way to help a lot of people. So I would dig that, like I said, from his mouth to God's ears. But you know, these days, if you don't have an Ivy League education or a huge Twitter following, you're probably probably not going to be in politics. Anyway, moving on. If you're interested in helping with these elections, please contact the Board of Elections, the BOE. I've had a great time doing this. Like I said, I've done it over the years. I did it this last Tuesday. I was telling my mom I probably won't do it again. Why? I'm too old for it. I was standing for 15 hours. I was setting stuff up. I was taking stuff down. I was running over here. I was running over there. I'm helping people vote. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And you know what I'm saying? And I'll be 46 years old next month, and my back was screaming in pain. So, for some of you younger ones out there with a good back and who do not have high blood pressure like myself, please holler at the BOE and get involved. Now, do you get paid for that day? Yeah, I think it's like $130, $140. It ain't really no money. You don't do it for the money. You do it for the experience. And I ain't gonna lie, all those years I got such a kick out of thinking that here I am directly helping with democracy. You know what I'm saying? I'm right here in the fight where the rubber meets the road, where people are casting their vote, they're casting their ballot. You know what I'm saying? For whoever, the next executive or the next mayor or the next whatever. Another thing too, while you're up there voting, a lot of people were tripping because they said some of these people, I didn't even know who they was. Well, a lot of them are judges, and a lot of them were running uncontested. I was telling people that too. But look, if you don't know, let me tell anybody that. If you don't know somebody or know something about somebody, you do not have to vote for them. And that doesn't mess up your vote or anything. You go right past that name. You don't have to vote for that person. You don't have to vote for that person. There are some people, and I've seen this, they'll come into an election and just go past all the names. Boop. Why? They just want to keep themselves in the mix. They don't have to re-register for, you know what I'm saying, other votes that are coming up. Because I tell people all the time, you vote early, you vote often, right? But every 6 months, there's something to vote on. And if you don't vote, in a minute, you know, after a while, they take you out the rolls, right? And then you have to kind of get yourself back in the loop. So who got time for that? Sometimes people just go out and don't even vote for nothing. They just want to go there just to let it be known I'm still voting. I'll be voting next time. This time, I just really didn't care about none of these people, though. That's fine. That is fine. Some of them judges I didn't vote for. Some of them I did because I've heard their names before. But some of them I don't know anything about. So guess what? They did not get my vote. I'm not voting for you if I don't know anything about you. You know? So there it is, right? My time is almost up. Before I get out of here, I do want to talk about an IPA. I think I've talked about this IPA before because it's one of my favorites. But I got to talk about it again. This Chill Wave Double IPA from Great Lakes. When I was voting, the lady came up there. She was wearing a Great Lakes sweater. I told her, I said, that's my favorite beer on the planet. One of my favorite beers on the planet is this right here, Great Lakes. And this right here, this Chill Wave Double IPA. This is strong. This is good. It says, inspired by the North Coast, dedicated and sometimes chilly surf community. Our fully stoked double IPA will melt the ice in your beard and never lose its balance. 9.0% alcohol. Woo-wee. You're going to feel that, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you are. This is some good beer right here. And as you can see, this is gone. Killed this a little while ago. Because this is delicious. Delicious. And it do the trick. You have one of these, your night is set. And I love how it's got the surf on there and all that. You know what I'm saying? Chill Wave. That's a good beer right there. Delicious IPA. So if you got a little bit of money in your pocket, please do yourself a favor. Take yourself to your favorite beer house or other liquor store and get you. You know what I'm saying? Chill Wave Double IPA by Great Lakes. Well, that is my time. This has been Urban Politics. I am your host, Fizz Ed Music. Please like and subscribe. And as always, see you around like a donut.